You are not a gadget. I wish I could say I came up with that myself, but I don't want to lie to you. This is the title and the moral of a story of a book by Jerome Lanier. Lanier makes a lot of solid and poignant arguments in his book, but the one that concerns me the most is this concept that we are not gadgets. In this vein, Lanier speaks mainly about how we communicate through the internet, and how the digitization of personalities lose the essence of the person, similarly to how Benjamin worried about the aura of the work of art in mechanical reproduction. I, however, am a bit more concerned with the way we interact with cell phones, or I guess the way we don't interact. Cell phones were meant to bring people together when face-to-face communication was impossible, but in reality, I think we're isolating ourselves with them. Alright, tell me you haven't been in a room with like 5 other people where at least 3 of you weren't just sitting around on your phones and not interacting with each other. You're a liar. It's a problem that I was concerned about even before I took this class, and I'm legitimately worried about it. I think we need to live in the space and time in which we're present, and we need to get off the phone.
Hey man, I've recently been doing some contemplation about people's dependency upon cellular telephones.
Yeah man, me too. I've really noticed that everyone always seems to be on their mobile device instead of really being in the moment.
Exactly. And I feel like this is a very significant issue that needs to be addressed immediately.
Yes, immediately.
We really should do something about this.
Dude,
Yeah.
you ready?
Yeah.
Yo, get off the phone.
YouTube comedy duo Rhett and Link would make excellent media theorists. The video uploaded to their channel on December 3rd expresses their concerns about society's increasing dependence on cell phones. Dependence, I think, is certainly the strongest word that I can think of, but it's more of a nicotine addiction rather than a healthy relationship. Whether you're shopping in a mall, walking across campus, or even sitting in a restaurant, it's a safe bet that at least half, probably more than half of the people that you see are going to be entrenched in whatever's going on their phone rather than present in their current space and time. People are becoming less and less inclined to put their phones down. Looking back to early media and communication studies, there's a lot to be learned from this phenomenon. It's curious what Marshall McLuhan might think of this, eye obsession. His famous idea of the medium is the message originated in 1964 when the cell phones were a work of science fiction. Therein, he discussed how the way in which we communicate is more important than what we're actually communicating. Nearly half a century later, cell phones are present and running rampant. It's hard to say whether McLuhan would be participative in this cell phone culture, or whether he'd abstain, but it's certain he has something to say about it. Seeing families, groups of friends, either in public or in private, each with their attention turned to their own device rather than each other, is disheartening. It definitely doesn't say anything good about where we as society might end up in, well, God knows how long before we have a helmet to keep our phones in front of our faces and control them hands-free. Oh.
Here we have a man who's chosen the Instagram, his apple pie a la mode. While he fumbles through the filters, his ice cream has gotten a la hot and the pie a la cold. As you can see, this street performer's drawn a crowd to watch him do his thing. But instead of just enjoying the show, it seems everyone's decided to make a documentary. Notice this unreasonably attractive couple enjoying a reasonably priced Italian dinner together. Social networking instead of working on getting to know each other better. How does that filter taste your taste? Since your dessert has gone to waste, when do you think you ever will wanna watch this portrait juggling film? You know you want to touch each other. Doesn't that feel good?
He's my brother.
Get off the phone. It's gonna be okay. There's no need to be afraid. It doesn't love you. It's gonna die one day. The government is probably spying on you with it anyway.
McLuhan also introduces another idea that technology is merely an extension of the self. The thing is, we no longer view technology, phones in particular, as extensions of ourselves. Some people have near panic attacks when they misplace their phone, and it sounds like a gross exaggeration or overgeneralization, but I don't really think many people would debate the validity of that statement. Our phones are a piece of us, to the point where new phones are sexualized and, eroticized, as displayed by the iPhone 5S commercial at the beginning of the video. The song that Apple uses to back that commercial can only be described as, sexy. Well, actually, I guess according to songmeanings.com, it can be described a little more elaborately. Phones are being fetishized today to a point that's concerning for the future. How much farther can phones even go? Who knows? Maybe we'll go back?
Here we have a stereotypical teen forced to endure family game night. He's stereotypically texting and missing his mom. Demonstrate a carousel ride. Little Ethan here is celebrated being the center of the universe for 1 year. But the world's greatest dad is more worried about Facebooking it than actually being here. Let's listen in and see if we can get some context.
Please hurry, we're at 382 Pine.
He has the nerve to make a phone call. It's such a pivotal moment in his friend's life. How could you be so disengaged while precious memories are being made? Do you really think your friends need another baby picture in their feed? Don't be such a self-centered guy. Now isn't that better?
I think he just died.
Guy Debord wrote in 1977 about the commodity as spectacle. He discussed how, as a whole, society was moving towards this obsessive, passive intake of images and information, while the passivity of it is being ameliorated by the participatory nature of the internet. The obsessive part has gotten a lot worse. We constantly immerse ourselves in media, and cell phones perpetually facilitate that immersion with little to no difficulty. The worst thing you can encounter nowadays is, now what are you even going to do? I can't check my Twitter, I can't text my friends about nothing, I can't even connect to Facebook to play Candy Crush. We need to stop. Jonathan Foer's New York Times article, How Not to Be Alone, is a great example of the isolation that cell phones create. Published in June 2013, Foer tells the story of when he encountered a young girl talking on her phone and crying. Clearly the girl was in emotional distress, but Foer didn't know if he should make an effort to interact with her. He's sure that 50 years ago that would have been the right thing to do, but since this happened in her own separate world through her phone, was it his place to interject? Who's to say? Cell phones were invented to create an on-the-go means of communication when face-to-face interaction was impossible. Instead, they've become an omnipresent distraction from our presence in space and time. Half the time, they're interrupting communication instead of facilitating it. I think as a society, we're in danger of losing all interpersonal communicative abilities. It's a very frightening but very real fact that we have a hard time existing in public without our noses buried in our phones. I'm honestly frightened what may become of interpersonal communication in the next couple decades. Part of me wishes I hadn't stumbled upon this video of Rhett and Link, because there's really no better way to get across a point than a well-choreographed musical number. Oh well, I guess I'll let them finish it out.
Get off the phone, it's gonna be okay. There's no need to be afraid. It doesn't love you, it's gonna die one
I'm on the set of our music video. There's Rhett.
Seriously?
What?
It doesn't